Most people waste their entire lives chasing approval, and it's the very reason they never get respect. Every smile you force to hide discomfort, every time you stay silent when someone crosses the line, every excuse you make for people who don't value you, these are not acts of kindness. They are signals of weakness, and weakness never commands respect. The Stoics knew this long before modern psychology confirmed it. Seneca wrote that true strength lies in mastering yourself, not in pleasing others. Epictetus warned that a man who depends on external validation is already enslaved. And centuries later, Machiavelli echoed the same truth. It is far safer to be respected than to be liked. Respect is built on boundaries, on consequences, and on the refusal to bend your worth for anyone's approval. The sooner you stop playing the game of being liked, the sooner you reclaim the power that people have been taking from you all along. When you make being liked your priority, you hand over control of your life. People sense it instantly. They know you will smile even when they disrespect you. They know you will agree even when they are wrong. They know you will show up even when they have canceled on you a dozen times. And because you're predictable, you're disposable. This is the paradox no one talks about. The harder you try to be liked, the less people actually like you, because desperation has a scent and people smell it from a mile away. Think about it. When was the last time you respected someone who was desperate for approval? Never. Respect does not grow in the soil of neediness. The Stoics warned against this trap centuries ago. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In other words, stop worrying about whether others approve of you. If your sense of worth depends on their opinion, you'll bend, twist, and break just to fit their expectations. And a man without his own spine cannot command respect from anyone. Machiavelli, in his brutal clarity, sharpened this lesson. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. He wasn't advocating tyranny. He was revealing a psychological truth. Fear, in this sense, means consequence. When people know there's a cost to crossing you, they think twice. When there's no cost, they walk all over you. Look at the people who truly command respect in your life. They're not always the friendliest or the easiest to please. Often, they're the teacher who never let you get away with excuses, the boss who demanded your best, the friend who told you the truth when everyone else stayed silent. You didn't respect them because they bent to you. You respected them because they didn't. Meanwhile, the eternal people-pleasers get overlooked, forgotten, and dismissed. They may be liked superficially, but deep down, nobody respects them. Because when you're available to everyone, you're special to no one. The Stoics would say this is slavery by another name. A man chained to the approval of others can never act with reason, courage, or justice. He is not free. And if you're not free, you cannot be respected. Respect isn't given, it's commanded. And you cannot command anything while you're on your knees, begging for scraps of approval. Respect is not about being admired. It is not about being impressive, talented, or even successful. That's admiration. Respect is something different. It's the silent acknowledgement that people cannot cross you without consequence. It's the instinctive caution that makes them measure their words and actions around you. The Stoics understood this principle well. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Respect is born not from begging for recognition, but from living with such clarity and strength that others cannot ignore your presence. It comes from boundaries that actually mean something, boundaries you enforce without apology. Here is the brutal truth. When someone disrespects you and you do nothing, you are training them that disrespecting you is free. You're teaching them, with every silence, that there is no cost to undermining you. And once you've taught people that lesson, respect becomes impossible. But the opposite is equally powerful. When you demonstrate that your time, attention, and energy have value, that there is always a cost for crossing you, suddenly the dynamic shifts. People begin to pause before speaking, carelessly. They consider twice before wasting your time. They understand that proximity to you is a privilege, not a guarantee. Machiavelli warned, "Men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities that he who deceives will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived." What he meant is simple. People treat you exactly as you allow them to. No better, no worse. And the dark power of respect is that it builds upon itself. The more you demand it, the more you receive it. The more you receive it, the easier it is to demand. This is why the most respected people never ask for respect. They don't argue for it. They don't explain why they deserve it. They don't perform to earn it. They simply refuse to accept anything less. That refusal is what sets them apart from the powerless. And here is the critical distinction. When you chase approval, you give others control. They decide whether to give you what you crave. But when you demand respect, you hold the power. Because respect isn't granted. It's enforced by your standards, your presence, and your willingness to walk away. The Stoics would say that your worth is not up for debate. It is defined by your reason, your virtue, and your self-command. The moment you stop trading your dignity for affection, you stop being disposable and start becoming untouchable. Every interaction you have, every conversation, every relationship, every agreement is ultimately about control. The question is simple. Who sets the terms, you or them? If you don't know who's in control, it isn't you. Approval seekers lose control without realizing it. Every time you adjust your words to be liked, you hand power to someone else. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you let them steer your life. Every time you hold back your opinion to avoid disapproval, you let their expectations silence your truth. That is not kindness. It is submission. The Stoics called this slavery of the soul. Epictetus taught that a man who depends on others for validation is no longer free. If you wish to be a man of honor, never value yourself at what others make of you. If your worth rises and falls on the approval of others, then they own you. They hold the remote control to your emotions, and they can push your buttons whenever they want. Machiavelli's insight aligns with this. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. When you perform endlessly for approval, you live for appearances. You wear masks for every audience, twisting yourself into what they want to see. That's not power. It's dependence disguised as charm. But when you free yourself from the need to be liked, you become unpredictable. You no longer react to manipulation. You no longer fold under pressure. You say what you mean, you act as you choose, and you stand by your own standards. This unpredictability is terrifying to those who feed on control, because they cannot use your weakness against you anymore. The consequences are profound. First, manipulators lose their grip. The guilt trips, the silent treatments, the pressure tactics, they stop working. Second, your decisions become sharper. You stop asking, what will keep them happy, and start asking, what serves my principles? Third, your relationships transform. Yes, some will crumble, because those built on control cannot survive without it. But the ones that remain will be stronger because they'll be based on mutual respect instead of one-sided need. This is the essence of Stoic strength, to govern yourself, and by doing so, to stop being governed by the whims of others. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Respect begins with this internal mastery. Without it, you'll always be someone else's puppet. With it, you become untouchable. Approval isn't just a habit, it's an addiction. And like any addiction, it makes you predictable, weak, and easy to control. Each compliment, each like, each word of praise triggers the same chemical response in your brain as a drug. You feel a surge of pleasure, and then you crave the next hit. The problem? Other people quickly learn how to exploit this pattern. Need you to work late? A little praise about your dedication. Want to borrow money? A flattering remark about how generous you are. Want you to ignore their disrespect. A sweet line about how understanding you've always been. They use your need for validation as a leash, and you wear it willingly. The Stoics warned against this trap with unflinching clarity. Seneca wrote, "He who seeks wisdom is a wise man. He who thinks he has found it is mad." The same applies to approval. The man who constantly seeks it becomes enslaved by the chase, while the one who abandons the chase becomes free. Dependence on validation is not strength. It is weakness dressed up as virtue. And Machiavelli's words cut just as sharp. He who neglects what is done, or what ought to be done, sooner affects his ruin than his preservation. When you live for what others think you should be, you destroy what you truly are. You trade authenticity for masks. You become a collection of performances instead of a person. This is why the approval addict never commands respect. They shift their opinions depending on the room. They hide the parts of themselves that may cause disapproval. They say yes when every fiber of their being screams no. They become everything to everyone and nothing to themselves. The man who breaks free from this addiction, however, becomes consistent. He is the same person in every room, the same voice in every conversation. He doesn't bend because bending is not an option. He doesn't hide because truth doesn't fear judgment. Ironically, it is this authenticity, this indifference to being liked, that makes him respected, and often genuinely liked, far more than the people pleasers ever are. But make no mistake, breaking the addiction is not easy. Your mind will fight you. It will whisper that if you stop chasing approval, you'll be alone. It will guilt you into thinking that refusing to please is cruelty. It will drag you back toward the comfort of compliance. That is why discipline is essential. You must be willing to be disliked, misunderstood, and criticized. You must value your own judgment above the applause of the crowd. You must choose to live by principle instead of popularity. Only then do you begin to command respect, not because others hand it to you, but because you've stopped giving it away. Now let's move from theory to practice. Respect isn't won through wishful thinking. It's enforced through action. Machiavelli, like the Stoics, understood that power is rooted in behavior, not in empty words. Here are the rules that separate those who command respect from those who beg for it. Rule 1. Speak less, act more. People who over-explain sound desperate. True power speaks in actions, not speeches. When someone disrespects you, don't lecture. Enforce the consequence. Rule 2. Never chase approval. Indifference is magnetic. When you stop running after people's acceptance, they start chasing yours. Rule 3. Stay calm under attack. Anyone can lose their temper. Few can remain unshaken. Your composure shows you cannot be controlled. Rule 4. Be unpredictable. Predictable people are easy to manipulate. Keep others guessing, and they'll respect your independence. Rule 5. Enforce boundaries swiftly. Warnings and excuses weaken you. Immediate, quiet consequences teach others that your limits are real. The Stoics lived this discipline daily. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Power begins with self-mastery and flows outward into how others treat you. Respect grows when access to you is limited. The more available you are, the less people value you. The less available you are, the more they recognize your worth. Scarcity has always created value, whether in money, opportunity, or people. When you're constantly present, saying yes to everything, forgiving every offense, you become background noise. But when you choose carefully where to invest your time, when you respond on your terms, when your energy is not infinite, you force others to treat you like the rare resource you are. Machiavelli understood this deeply. Men judge more by the eye than by the hand. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few know what you are. Distance sharpens perception. The less people see of you, the more they wonder about you. And curiosity is magnetic. This isn't about being cold. It's about clarity. Your time, attention, and presence are valuable. Treat them as such, and others will too. Chasing approval makes you weak. Commanding respect makes you powerful. The Stoics knew this. Machiavelli confirmed it, and life proves it every single day. The moment you stop trading your dignity for affection, you stop being disposable. Respect is not given, it's enforced. And once you claim it, everything changes. Your confidence, your relationships, your freedom. So choose today. Will you keep begging to be liked, or will you stand firm and be respected? If this message hit you hard, hit that like button. Subscribe for more content rooted in timeless wisdom and practical power. And before you go, drop this affirmation in the comments: respect over approval. Because in a world full of people desperate to be liked, the one who commands respect always wins.